Hello, welcome to another session of Learn with Veer Sagar. We will continue our discussion today about bosses. As I've said earlier, and I'll repeat, a good boss is a tremendous boon. If you have a good boss, not only you improve, not only you benefit and grow, the organization grows, people around you grow, and you have a very happy, contented working life. If not, then you start looking for another job. Of course, there's no guarantee that if you go from one company where the job boss is bad to another company, that you'll get a good boss. I have an experience, a situation in DCM when a sales manager came to me and said, I want to resign. Actually, he did resign. And then I asked him why. And he said, I have problem with my boss. I can't get along with him. So, okay, fine. So he left. He didn't go, he resigned, and he was working out his notice period. A week later, he came back and said, can I withdraw my resignation? I said, why? What happened? He said, you may be, I don't know whether you know or not, but the boss I was unhappy with, and because of whom I was leaving, is joining the same company where I was joining as my boss again. So there's no point going from here to that company and again having the same situation. So now that he's leaving, I'd like to continue here because I like this company. Of course, such kind of advance notices don't happen. It could have happened that he would have joined 1 month after this person has joined, and then the whole story begins again. But a bad boss can be a terrible thing. I had a boss. Now, let me say, instead of saying I had a boss, sometimes the bosses, and even if they're owners and they know that there is no chance of you overtaking them, which is one of the biggest fears, where bosses tend to be bossy, still they have this feeling that compared to other people in the family or other people in their connection, they are not as good. So they have that complex within them that they are not as good as businessmen, even though as people, as knowledge workers, they may be excellent. I mean, this particular boss that I had was very talented, very knowledgeable, well read, very articulate, well behaved, fantastic person. But he has this feeling because of peer pressure among his other family members and among the people in his group that he is not as good a manager as he should have been. He then has, I don't know whether he inherited it or he created it, but he had a advisor, set of what I call staff function. The most dangerous people in the world are the staff functions. When I was a line manager, regional manager in Dunlop, one line I would be scared of hearing, I'd seen my nightmares, is somebody from the head office comes and says, I am from the head office and I have come here to help you. That means you got a problem. Because staff function, generally, and I've been a staff function for a long time till I became line, and then I enjoyed line so much that I never thought of going back to staff. Staff function have the best of both worlds. When the idea works, right, they get the credit, and if it fails, the person who's supposed to implement gets the knock. And because they're close to the powers, to the directors, to the bosses, by virtue of being in the head office, they get their view across much easier than a person who's the line who's fighting the customer, fighting the competition in the market. So he had a team, a coterie. Now they have to justify their role. So they start creating issues, problems for the line managers, right? So that they keep sending all kinds of things. I had difficulty handling that. A lot of people knew how to get to the boss by being on the good side of these staff managers. And all these staff managers had to do was to recommend you. Say, yeah, it's good. So you have a proposal, you don't sell it to the boss, You sell it to the staff manager, the HR, finance, whoever it was. And then that manager would sell it to the boss. Whether he takes the credit or you get the credit, I do not know. But he would sell it. I am not used to that. I came from a thing of straight dealing. So when I did that, I had not no problem with the boss as much as I had with the surroundings, with all his staff managers. And I had a terrible time trying to get my things through because of this wall, right, of a, I don't know how do I describe it. They are not bosses. These staff managers are not my bosses. In some cases they are peers. In some cases they're even in junior. But they had the ear of the boss. So that's one of the situations where you have to learn how to manage in this situation. One other thing that also comes in such a situation is your loyalty. Loyalty to the boss versus loyalty to the job. When you sit as the CEO or as the department head or whoever you are for that little function and you take a decision, what do you think of? Do you think, is this good for the job? Or do you think, is it good for my boss? Will my boss like it? And if my boss won't like it, not because it's not a good decision or not a good thing, but because it may not help him, then I will not do. So that's a constant fight. And somehow I still haven't got an answer what is the right thing. Your loyalty to the job or loyalty to the customer, to the job or loyalty to the boss. And unfortunately, I think by taking a view that loyalty to the job is most important, I did suffer or lose out in quite a few places where I thought that if the job does well, the boss should automatically do well. But it did not work out that way. In the next session, right, I will talk about retention because it's directly related to bosses. And in today's world, where there is this massive fight for acquisition and retention of talent, there's a war today. It's very, very important that we retain talent. And how do we retain talent? Who is responsible for retention of talent? So, in the next session of Learn with Veer Sagar, I will cover that. Till that time, it's Veer Sagar saying thank you and see you again. Bye.